Hey guys, Oblivion234 here, again with another Urban Rivals video. So today is part 3 of the best 2 stars in each clan. Today we'll be covering the Junta, Montana, Nightmare, Piranhas, and Pussycats. So, as usual, we'll start in alphabetical order with the Junta. First off is Spade. He is usable up to the Z Palace. He's a 7-1 base with the ability +1 pills per damage, and with his bonus, he's a 7-3 with +1 pills per damage. So 7-3 is an okay stat line for a 2-star, and yeah, I mean, the pills back on damage means you can put, like, I don't know, 5 pills in Fury and still get your 5 pills back, so you equivalently use like 3 pills. So that's really good. And he really doesn't suffer to stop opponent ability. He does suffer to stop opponent bonus though, and that's kind of his only downside. The second one is Savia. She's usable up to the Politic Arena, 7-1 base, with support, -1 opponent damage, minimum of 2, and she's a 7-3. Again, with the 7-3 baseline, that's pretty above, it's above average for a 2-star, and that's quite a good defensive ability. It can chunk opponents' damage down by 4, which is very good. Moving on to the Montana, we've got Icario and Carmen. Icario is usable for the Z Palace. He's a 7-2 with victory or defeat, -1 opponent life, minimum of 0. So he's equivalently a 7-3 with -1 opponent attack. So there's really no downside to winning or losing with him because, yeah, he either is a 7-3 that deals 3 damage or he deals 1, and he can even kill your opponent. So you can get your opponent in a lose-lose situation. So that's always good, and yeah, he's a pretty good card overall. And then we've got Carmine, usable up to the Z Palace. He's a 6-3 with growth, -1 opponent damage, minimum of 3, and -12 opponent attack, minimum of 8. So this is just another good defensive card. It can get up to -4 opponent damage, minimum of 3, which is slightly higher minimum than you'd like, but against a big damage character, it's very good. And he's a 6-3, but with his ability, his bonus, he can get through even bigger things, so that's always good. 3 damage is nothing to scoff at. Okay, moving on to the Nightmare. Unfortunately, in the Nightmare, they really have pretty terrible 2-stars, and the best one happens to be Legendary, but the best non-legendaries are Sybil and Bill. Sybil is usable up to the Z Palace. She has the ability copy opponent power and damage, and stop opponent bonus. And actually, she's a 7-4, so Sybil's actually really good if they have stop opponent ability, because 7-4 baseline is above average for a 2-star. But with the copy opponent power and damage, you always win ties as a 2-star as long as you're not against another 2-star. And if you go second, you can pick your matchup, and with the stop opponent bonus, you can stop some of their modifiers. So all in all, it's really just a very situational card. Then you got Bill, who's usable up to the Political Arena. He's a 6-3 with defeat, -1 opponent life, min 0, stop opponent bonus. This guy's really good because his minimum is 0. Again, you can get your opponent into lose-lose situations where, you know, they die if they defeat Bill, but they die if they don't. So, yeah, and 6-3 is okay stat line. It's average. But yeah, overall, those are just the 2 best non-legendary 2-stars in the Nightmare clan. Moving on to the Pirana. Again, the best here is legendary, the Bonnie LD, but with the other 2 that are good are Cousteau, who's usable up to the Z Palace. He's a 6-2 with -1 opponent power damage, minimum of 1, and stop opponent bonus. The -1 opponent power and damage is fairly good. And with the stop opponent bonus, it allows you to win fights that you wouldn't always win. So 6-2 is below average for stats, but with the fact that he's -1 opponent power and damage, it kind of makes up for it a little bit. And then you got Lawrence, who's usable up to the Politic Arena. He's a 6-2 with +1 pills per damage, stop opponent bonus. Again, 6-2 is a lower stat line, but because of his pills gain per damage, it kind of makes up for it. This is a guy that either, they have to put some pills in front of to make sure he doesn't get through. This applies to Spade as well. They have to either put pills into their guy to stop you from getting your pills back, and you can bluff, with not putting as many pills in, or you can put quite a few pills into him and get up to 4 back, which means that he's got a pretty good refund on pills if you win, but if you lose, he's not that great. Moving on to the Pussycats, we've got Roxy and Nerissa. So Roxy is usable up to the Z Palace. She is an 8-1 with the ability -2 opponent pills, minimum 4, and -2 opponent damage, minimum of 1. So Roxy's just a wall. With the 8-1 stat line is average, low damage, but because of the ability -2 opponent pills, min 4, essentially it forces your opponent to put more pills in to make sure you don't get through, so they lose more pills. So essentially it does its job, what its ability does either way, and then with the -2 opponent damage, you're not going to be taking too much either. So Roxy just functions as a very effective wall against your opponent's characters, because 8 power is fairly high. And then you got Nerissa, who is a 7-2 with revenge, power and damage +2, and -2 opponent damage, min 1. So after you lose a round, if you lose a round, which is highly likely, Nerissa will be a 9 power, which is a very high stat line for a 2-star. Also, if you're wondering what stat lines I'm talking about, the average combined power and damage of a 2-star is about 9. So, that adds up to a good 13, which is higher than average. And with the -2 opponent damage, even if it doesn't get through, with the Pussycats clan, it's just not so bad for you anyways. But that's about it for this video. Those are the best 2-stars, in my opinion, in each of those clans. Again, probably should mention this at the start, but it's the same as all my other videos. I'm judging in the ELO mode, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, leave a like. If you really loved it, subscribe. Oblivion234, out.